morning, Scotland. Good morning, social media land. I hope you're well. It is Tuesday, the 7th of January, 2025. We've been talking about the tactics of the Better Together campaign and utilising some of their strategies to reach out to the undecided voters. So before we get into today's meat and bones in this video, I want to give you all some homework. On the graphic up on your screen right now is a QR code to a YouTube video that is Rob Shorthouse, who was one of the head honchos for the Better Together campaign. Please screen capture this image and then go and watch this video. It should be compulsory viewing for every independence campaigner. Know your enemy. We'll also put the link of this video in today's video and tomorrow's and Thursday's description as well for you. The independence movement won't win by convincing those who are already convinced. The undecided voters hold the key to Scotland's future, yet too often we fail to speak directly to them. Instead, our efforts are consumed by internal debates or rallying our own supporters. While passion for independence is admirable, it must also be matched with strategy. Winning independence requires stepping outside of our comfort zones and engaging with those who are sceptical, unsure, or simply afraid of change. The Better Together campaign succeeded in 2014 not because of its strength of its message, but because of its focus on the undecided voters. They understood that 30% of voters who were unsure would decide the outcome of the referendum. Their approach was strategic and deliberate, prioritising undecided voters over their own voter base. While they reassured their core supporters, they poured their resources into understanding and persuading those on the fence. This was not a campaign of chance, but one of calculated focus. Through extensive polling and focus groups, they uncovered what drove the undecided: fear of risk and a desire for something positive to vote for. Their messaging reflected these findings. They emphasised the potential dangers of independence, particularly around pensions, healthcare and economic stability, while pairing these warnings with promises of more powers for the Scottish Parliament. This dual approach, highlighting risks while offering a solution, spoke directly to voter anxieties and aspirations. It wasn't overly complex or abstract. It was clear, relatable, and targeted. In contrast, the independence movement in 2014 struggled to address these same voters. Too often we focused inwards, preaching to the choir rather than reaching out to those who are undecided. Our messaging lacked the clarity and cohesion needed to counter the fear narratives. When voters expressed concern about issues like currency or public services, we often dismissed these worries instead of addressing them with concrete solutions. This left many undecided voters feeling that independence was too uncertain a path to take. If we are to succeed in the future, we must learn from these mistakes. The undecided voters are not adversaries to be dismissed, nor are they an afterthought. They are the very people who will determine Scotland's fate. To win their support, we must first understand their concerns. Are they worried about economic stability? Are they uncertain about how independence will affect their everyday lives? These questions need answers, not platitudes. We need to invest in research to uncover their motivations and their fears, just as Better Together did. Once we understand the undecided voters, we must then craft a message that resonates with them. Independence must be framed as a hopeful, forward-looking choice that offers tangible benefits. It's not enough to criticise Westminster. We must show how an independent Scotland will deliver better public services, great economic opportunities, and a fairer society. Every message must address the core question: how will independence improve the lives of ordinary Scots? Real-life examples and personal stories can make these arguments relatable and powerful. For example, the mitigation of the two-child cap benefit. This is something that the Scottish Government is doing right now, and simplicity in this message is key. The undecided are not looking for lengthy manifestos or technical jargon. They want a clear, straightforward answer to their concerns. What will happen to pensions? How will Scotland trade with other countries after independence? What will the new currency look like? These are practical questions that demand credible, evidence-based answers. If we cannot provide them, we risk losing their trust. We also need to equip activists with the tools to engage effectively with undecided voters. This means training people to listen carefully to concerns, responding with empathy, and counter misinformation with facts. Activists should be prepared to have honest, respectful conversations, focusing on building trust rather than winning arguments. The goal is not to overwhelm undecided voters with information, but to give them the confidence that independence is a viable and positive choice, to inspire a bit of critical thinking. The independence movement must also embrace a shift in focus. Internal debates and disagreements, while important, can't take precedence over the work of persuasion, the work of the independence activist. We, as activists, and in fact every campaigner, every supporter has a role to play in reaching out to undecided voters. This is not the responsibility of one group or one leader. It's a collective effort that requires unity of purpose. The movement must prioritise engagement over echo chambers and focus on building a message that speaks to those who are still unsure. Scotland's future will not be decided by the loudest voices in the independence movement, but by the quiet doubts of those who remain undecided. These voters hold the key to success, and it's our responsibility to earn their trust. Independence is not a given. It's something we must work for, something we must prove is not only possible, but preferable. If we want to win, we must stop preaching to the choir and start speaking to the people who need to hear us most. The undecided voters are waiting. It's time we reached out to them more. Scotland's future depends on it. In Scotland, the dream of freedom stirs in your heart, yet we falter in our own noise. We rally to our own. We cheer our banners but forget the silent ones, the undecided who hold the key to our liberation. How easy it is to preach to those who already believe, yet how futile in the grand pursuit of our nation's destiny. It is not the loudest voices that will decide your future, but the quiet doubts of those who stand unsure. Their fears are not foes to dismiss, but bridges to build. Currency, pensions, public services, questions that demand answers, not scorn. We must meet their doubts with clarity, their scepticism with hope, and their fears with solutions. If independence is to be more than a dream, we must leave behind our echo chambers, our inward debates, and reach outward. The undecided are not our adversaries. They are our purpose. Through empathy, truth, and unity, we must earn their trust, show not just what we oppose, but what we propose. Scotland's freedom will not be handed to us. We must prove that it's possible, preferable, and worth the leap. Let us rise then, not as factions, but as one people, speaking to those who need us the most. The undecided are waiting there for us. We meet them with the courage that they deserve.